Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's Tech Forum session. I'm Ainsley Sparks, the Marketing and Communications Manager at BookNet Canada. Welcome to eProduction Tools and Tips Roundup. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to recognize that BookNet Canada acknowledges its staff, board, and partners work upon the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Wendat, and Huron Indigenous peoples, the original nations of this land. We endorse the calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada and support an ongoing shift from gatekeeping to space making in the book industry. Now let me introduce our speakers. As the Director of Content Standards at Macmillan Learning, Rachel Comerford helps to implement and maintain industry and internal standards in content, platforms, and processes. Her work includes establishing internal accessibility, metadata, and EPUB implementation guides that align with best practices. She co-chairs the W3C Publishing Community Group and participates in working groups at IMS Global, BISG, and AMAC, where she asks lots of annoying questions and competes for the title of most snarky. She enjoys lazy strolls on the beach, red wine, and well-constructed EPUBs, complete with all of their accessibility features and metadata. Monique Mongeon has always been fascinated with the intersection of books and technology, from her start making fan sites for her favorite books to her current role as the project manager at BookNet Canada. Monique also teaches ebook production at Ryerson University's Chang School. Prior to joining BookNet, Monique worked in ebook production for Penguin Random House Canada. Now I'm going to turn it over to Rachel and Monique.
Hello, everyone. So glad to be here and speak with all of you. I'll let Rachel jump on as well.
Hello.
So for those of you who've attended Tech Forum before in person or attended this session last year, you know that we like to have a really interactive session. This really is about sharing amongst the community of ebook producers and aspiring ebook producers to help understand how we can do our work better and also how we can share and commiserate.
It's also about the donuts. So Mo, could you get those distributed?
I'll do my best to send a virtual donut to everyone. Let me just arrange my windows here. It was all set up and then I stopped screen sharing before. All right. So we will be watching the chat for your contributions, and Rachel and I will kind of read them out throughout the presentation. But I thought a useful thing to start with would be to kick off with a poll. So we're going to be running a poll through Zoom. So I will launch the first question now. So you should have the option to respond to this poll. And our first question is an easy one. Do you read ebooks? So do you read books?
I don't know if you can hear this, Mo, but my cat has something to say about this question.
Oh, does your cat read ebooks also?
Well, you say also, but I don't read ebooks, so.
Rude.
I know, right?
So what we're seeing here in our poll so far is that 89% of our respondents read ebooks, which is not surprising given that you had an interest in this topic to attend the session today. In our 2020 consumer data at BookNet, we found 25% of all book purchases were ebooks. So this group here might be more likely to purchase ebooks than the average Canadian reader. So I'm going to end.
Ebooks, Mo?
I do. So our next question gives a sense of how much of your reading is in a digital format. So we're looking to see what percentage of your reading is digital. Do you read about half of your books digitally? That's what I would choose. I'm probably at about 50 to 55% digital reading. Really widespread.
By the fact that this poll does not actually have a 0%?
No, just under 10.
It's not acceptable. Well, obviously I had nothing to do with the preparation of this presentation and couldn't have included that information earlier.
So it looks like for this group, about the highest percentage here is 33%, at 51 to 70% of people's reading is generally in a digital format. So we have lots of heavy digital readers in this group, but many who read more or less than that. I'm going to jump over to our next question here. So now we're looking for those digital readers. What device do you read on most frequently? We've got tablets, mobile phones, e-readers, a laptop or a desktop computer, or for people like Rachel who only read in digital format, you can also choose paper as your device. At one time in history, that was a modern device for reading.
It was. And if, for those of you who have seen my Twitter, this morning, a 6-year-old got his first print dictionary and was excited to let us know that it was just like an iPad because he can swipe the pages. So
I've never felt older in my life.
I know. No, it was a rough moment for me as well.
So if I share the results here, we can see that 34% of the attendees of this session read most often on their tablet. That's quite popular. In our 2018 ebook usability study, we found that tablets and mobile phones were the most popular and dedicated e-reading devices were the least popular. So that's an interesting spread of that question.
I do appreciate that there are more all print readers on this webinar, though. I was afraid I would be all alone.
So our next question is, when you are selecting an ebook to read, which factor is most important in making your decision? Are you really influenced by price, the portability, the privacy that nobody can tell what you're reading if you're a guilty pleasures reader, the ease of purchase, ease of use, or the immediacy of your purchase? You can just buy the book and have it right away.
Is this where I admit that I used my e-reader to read 50 Shades of Grey, but that's the only book I've ever read on it?
I think this is a safe space to make these confessions. One of the first ebooks I ever read was a NASCAR-themed Harlequin romance. And it was actually quite good. I enjoyed it immensely.
I did not enjoy 50 Shades of Grey, but it was good for the laugh factor.
Oh, so Ruth is saying you get ebooks from the library. Price question, not relevant. That's a really important factor as well. If you're selecting from the library, price is not going to be a factor for you. And some of those other things like the portability, the immediacy. In some ways, when you're acquiring through the library, price can be a factor because you're choosing to acquire for free. But that's a really great point, Ruth. So we can see the immediacy factor here. Perhaps a lot of impatient readers on our poll. Oh, someone says they buy ebooks but never get around to reading them. So you have a long to be read pile on your device.
I don't have a long to be read pile at all. Note, I'm motioning towards the many layered bookcase behind me.
Yeah, I'm an impatient reader. I'll buy ebooks just to make sure that I have them right away. So I'm going to move on to our next question here. This is a wayfinding question. So how do you most often look for information to navigate within a book or find a certain part of a book while you're reading it?
So this is a really interesting question for me because we have recently started to have conversations about how necessary an index is in an ebook. So I'm super curious about whether people are using the indexes that they find in ebooks, because we have cross-referencing, we have table of contents, we have, in some cases, like a mini table of contents at the beginning of every chapter. And of course, you can, in most reading systems, you can do bookmarking. So I'm really wondering if the index is being used anymore, if this is just a print carryover.
Let me share the results of our poll here. So it looks like search and table of contents are tied for the most popular here, 48% of the votes. Someone selected other. I'm curious.
Does that other want to share?
Oh, depends on how specific what I need is. If that's the case, I use search, bookmarks for actual chapters, use index in cookbooks. Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, interesting.
When you're using the index in a cookbook, are you looking for specific ingredients? Ingredients or a recipe?
Okay.
Excellent. This is all really helpful information to have. When we did the ebook usability study a couple of years ago, we found that the table of contents was the most popular. Seeing lots of people index very useful for researching. Lauren saying regularly using both the index and the table of, or not the index, the search and table of contents. I'm going to jump to our next question. This is for the ebook producers in the room. We're wondering what interactive features you include in the ebooks that you produce. If that's pop-up definitions, references, do you use embedded video, audio overlays, if you use other features.
And if so, tell us more about them.
Seeing lots of answers coming in. Ooh, audio overlay, very popular.
Really?
Read along text highlighting for picture books, very good. Animations, ooh, cool.
Okay, well, I'm going to start reading Lauren's books.
Let me share the results of that so everyone can see. So we have pop-up definitions with 29%, references 42%, 29% with embedded video, 54% audio overlay, and then 17% other. And some of those others we got, again, were read-along text highlighting, animation for picture books, and interactivity generally. What other interactive features? See Marisa raise a hand. Feel free to join in the chat, Marisa.
Sorry, we can't unmute people. It's our webinar shortcoming. That, and we just really enjoy hearing our own voices.
Misclicked. Oh, that's fine.
I was hoping you had something interesting to say about audio overlay.
So I'm gonna advance us to our last question. And this is just a good temperature taking. We're looking for what format of EPUB you're primarily producing, EPUB 2 or EPUB 3?
There is a right answer here.
Oh, fixed layout EPUB 3.
Oh, we didn't, well, that makes sense. For children, yeah. We didn't really ask about the fixed or reflowable. Can I stare down the camera and say, there is a right answer?
Oh, Dave is saying our model is decidedly non-interactive. Print under dirty glass. Interesting. So I'm going to share the results of this poll. Most of you are producing EPUB 3, which is wonderful. One of you is producing EPUB 2.
Identify yourself immediately.
Just switch to EPUB 3 reflowable. It took my team a bit to get behind it, even though we wanted it for accessibility reasons. That's a great point. The motivation to switch can take a really long time to build on a team.
I worked with a team that actually switched from PDF to EPUB 3. We skipped EPUB 2, and it was quite a journey to get there.
It can be difficult when you're working with people who are maybe not familiar with EPUB or the different formats of EPUB and trying to make the case to make that switch when it seems perhaps less important to people who don't understand the different capabilities of the formats.
Yeah.
Has anyone else had some challenges switching from EPUB 2 to EPUB 3 that they want to share in the chat? I think that's a really common problem people in our field approach throughout their different workflows.
I do recall there being a good article about it on EPUB Secrets, about why to make the switch from EPUB 2 to EPUB 3.
Yeah, maybe we'll share that in the document after the presentation. Matthew's saying, I never had to make an EPUB 2. That's a good sign of the times. I think yes, absolutely. So like I sort of just referred to, in case I forgot to mention this at the outset of the presentation, we're going to be collecting all the things that we discuss, all the references, the resources people mention, and we'll be sharing that as a document after the presentation. So you have kind of a little toolkit to go back with you. So we'll pull that EPUB Secrets article, as well as much more. So please don't be shy.
We did this last year as well, where we pulled some resources, and Mo, I'm wondering if we could provide that again this year.
Yes, and we'll share it as a PDF, and I believe as a Word document as well.
Ken, I feel like we're being trolled when you ask us if we're going to share it as a PDF.
All right, so now that we've completed the poll section of our session, the next thing we want to discuss is some different areas of the industry. We want to hear about your experiences, and we thought it wouldn't be 2021 if we didn't ask for everyone to share their best work from home innovation. Rachel, why don't you tell us about your best work from home innovation?
Because Mo knows my work from home innovation. And I swear this is not what's happening right now, although you can't see, but wine in a mug. No one knows. No one knows. No one knows what's in there.
All right, so Rachel's gone with wine in a mug as an innovation that has helped her survive working from home through the past year. I have a more orthopedic solution. I have one of those inflatable like exercise ball cushions that I sit on my chair. Helps.
I have one of those chairs. I love it so much.
Oh, Lindsay adopted a kitty to keep me company as a coworker. Oh, that's a wonderful innovation.
Yeah. If you listen carefully, you can hear mine crying from the bathroom.
Does anyone else have any other things that have helped you kind of weather the transition to working from home? Can't say enough good things about standing desk. Stand-up desk with a hammock underneath. Mav, I really need to know what the hammock is. The hammock for a part of your body or for your cat or other pet to hang out on?
I want a stand-up desk with a human hammock underneath. I now have. Yes. Can you put the link?
So Ruth is saying no change, always work from home. Ken said Spotify, excellent music suggestion. Sweatpants, a window with plants. New laptop went from 2011 to 2020 model. Brittany, I feel you. I'm also operating on an older computer. Fairly basic. I upgraded my chair and it made a huge difference. Mav is saying the hammock is for humans.
Fancy
making sure
is a big one.
Making sure I stand up every hour to stretch. A foot hammock. Lauren does have a foot hammock. I've seen it. It's amazing. Meg, I bought one of those goofy gamer chairs, but it's awesome for my back. Yeah, no shade to the gamers, you know? They have good chairs.
I have one that lives with me. I have tons of shade for gamers.
Fancy homemade hot chocolate every morning. Dave is living the best life. Mava shared a link to the hammock desk.
Which we will be including as a reference in this.
Yes. Play with my dog every chance I get. I love that. It's perfect. Hook up tablet to TV for Facebook dance classes to keep moving. Yes.
Nice.
I love this. I love hearing about what people have been doing to kind of mix up the year. We've been at BookNet doing some occasional game time. We've been playing Jackbox games occasionally on little breaks. All kinds of fun stuff people are up to. So we'll collect some of these. If you have more, feel free to keep sharing them in the chat. We'll be watching. Sit in the yard to eat lunch. Yes. Having an armchair next to the desk for the dog. Is the dog your colleague or is the dog your supervisor, Sarah? I have questions. I love this. Now that especially spring is coming, Chris has a dog chair also. The dog is the supervisor. It sounds about right.
There's people that have cats know that any chair that you have is the cat's chair. You don't need to get one just for them. If you have to stand, you have to stand.
Yeah, well, cats are aggressive that way. So
invasive. Right. It's an invasive species.
Well, so now that we've talked about working from home, we're going to turn back to the world of ebook production. And we want to hear about some of your biggest accessibility challenges over the last year. This can be a challenge related to specific types of content. It can be just a challenge in meeting the needs of some of your readers. We'd love to hear about those.
What kind of accessibility challenges have you had, Mel?
One of the challenges in the course that I've been teaching is actually making sure the course material is accessible, as well as the sort of things that we're putting out from the class. So the work that my students are doing should be accessible, but I'm also having some challenges with the learning platform, making that as accessible as I would like it to be. So we've got a few. Convincing editors to write decent alt text and long descriptions. It's a good one. Figuring out accessibility optimized Onyx. Rolling out alt text and teaching the editors and author. Yes, there's sort of an educational piece to that. Fixing or finding language codes. Massive challenge, getting management to support basic accessibility. Making fixed layout ebooks accessible is a big challenge, especially for graphic novels. We haven't really figured out any solutions yet. That's a great point. One of my students was talking a lot about graphic novels earlier in the year, and she actually found this great resource called Comic Ally, and I'll share that in the document after. And it shows some really interesting interactive ways to handle graphic novels. Most of them are a bit beyond the bounds of EPUB, but I really like looking at that as sort of inspiration for where it could go. Audio description of a comic book, does it need alt text as well? Communication, a student publishing in Centennial, and it's hard to get a hold of professors often. Yes, yeah. Making sure you can reach everybody that you need to, especially if people are working flexible hours or different hours based on what they have going on at home. Getting our app to actually support accessibility features, definitely. Difficult to teach tasks via video screen sharing. Audio isn't always great and the screen can be really small. Also getting people to write alt text is going to be a problem. The biggest challenge, changing the workflow, incorporating alt text, adding accessibility metadata, fixed layout picture books in general. Dave is saying the W3C publishing community group is starting to look at the problem of fixed layout accessibility.
I will also say that the book industry study group in the States is working on a fixed layout best practices guide, which Dave Kramer will have a draft done any minute now.
just some light shame from Rachel. It's fine. Totally fine.
I mean, light shame is kind of an upgrade for me.
So Lindsay,
audio overlay in here for producing audiobook formats and getting people to understand how to think about alt text outside their own point of view. That's a really good point. We struggle with that a lot. A lot of people don't understand that because they are a subject matter expert doesn't mean that they are the right audience for alt text, which is difficult.
Yeah.
I see a lot about training alt text writers and getting high quality alt text. So poor Mo, I'm gonna go off script. And so, has anyone attempted to use machine learning or AI to write alt text and then work from that as a starting point? So I will say that we've started doing some experimentation with this. I hate immediate outputs from machines. It's just never beats a human being. But we have found that it's a really good starting point for alt text. And there are a couple of companies out there that are doing some really interesting work involving that. So maybe we'll provide some resources there.
Yeah, Gregorio says they're working on it at LEA.
Oh, excellent. Gregorio, if there are any resources you'd like us to point to, I'm happy to include that in this document.
Yeah, Matthew's also sharing, it doesn't seem to work very well for illustrated works. The models seem to be trained on photos. That's a good point.
Yeah, we've had that experience as well. And that's part of the reason that we've become very dedicated to having a human editor of whatever comes out of it. And we haven't really implemented it at Macmillan in a large scale way, but we're looking at it as a possibility because it means that we can get that alt text to people faster than we ever did before.
Absolutely. Just going back to some of the other things that have been shared in terms of accessibility challenges, and I apologize for the noise, the recycling truck has showed up right on time at 1:30. So workflow side, it was an adjustment to think of an ebook as something accessible instead of just trying to replicate the print copy. That's a huge challenge. It was something I struggled with a lot earlier in my career. That can just be a really difficult challenge.
Yeah, we still struggle with that, I think. And I think a lot of companies are having that struggle, which is that the print book has always been this primary product for us. And so the idea of producing something that was independent of that, but had the same content was really kind of alien to people. And we are definitely at a better point than we were a while ago. But one of the things that I recommend that worked out really well for us was that we established a CSS that was not completely universal. But it was kind of standardized, and so there was an expected experience in our ebooks, and that became something that our content teams could get used to, our production teams could get used to, and our readers could get used to. And this way we were doing something optimized for a digital experience.
Yeah, it can be so challenging too, and also just getting people used to seeing a different view of what a book can look like. Especially, I often found working on heavily designed books like cookbooks or lifestyle books that sometimes they were so used to seeing the beautiful design that the print designer had slaved over, that by the time I came around with my like much simpler looking ebook, they were like, this is not what we thought we were getting. And that can be a challenge.
Katie says that the standardized CSS is chef's kiss, which I appreciate.
Can you do the chef's kiss, Rachel? Wonderful.
Yes.
Just what we needed. Another challenge is properly including ARIA roles. I think it's a little less accessible to those of us without a lot of coding background. Absolutely. It can be difficult to figure out how to do it right if you're still kind of learning and building up your coding skills. Support for reader systems for longer descriptions, ARIA described by text. Looking for resources to help with page lists.
Yeah,
they're all really good.
On ARIA described by. So we actually, we just started moving away from ARIA described by and started exposing our extended alt text to all users. And this way we don't have to worry about the lack of reliability of systems actually accessing ARIA described by. And we're also helping users that have cognitive impairments or learning disabilities to get more information about the image. So it's something I would recommend looking into.
Well, can we add more notes on that as well in our final document? No?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So now that we've talked about some accessibility challenges, I think a good topic to move on to is the biggest accessibility mistake you've seen this year. So perhaps without naming names, if you're looking at works you did not produce, it would be great to hear about some of the biggest accessibility mistakes you've seen over the course of the year. Rachel, have you seen anything?
Having promised Mo that I would not name names, I will just say accessibility overlays. I find them infuriating. This idea that you could have like this like one-click solution that's just going to make your website accessible no matter what you did on the back end. And the fact that a lot of these overlays are actually just inaccessible themselves. They create navigation issues for users. Makes me absolutely nuts.
Absolutely. Seeing pictures of words with accents. Yes. I've seen that so frequently in older books that I worked on. Or if words had special characters or other things. It's always fun when you change the font size of a word and most of the word changes size, and then there's just a teeny tiny picture of a letter somewhere in there. It's always a wonderful reading experience. Use your words, use your fonts. Yes, Dave. Yes, Dave. Another big accessibility mistake I've seen is that one of the popular library lending softwares, when you go to their website to borrow ebooks from the library, the website just, if you're using a screen reader for print disabled readers, it just says, this website is not accessible, please go to another website, which is a super great experience for those readers. I'm hoping it's improved since I saw that last, but we can only hope that they've been working on it. But yeah, that's an unfortunate accessibility mistake. I mean, on one hand, it's nice of them to just say what it is, so that readers know right off the bat and don't have to try.
I will say, so Dave had mentioned use your words, use your fonts. And so now I make another annoying plug for the work that the Book Industry Study Group is doing, because we are soon to release the best practices for font use in ebooks. And this is part of the workflow committee, which has the most awesome chair. She's just really fantastic. Yes, I'm talking about myself. But that does include information about, making sure that you're identifying all the needs of your fonts before you pick them for your book. So it's making it more about the user and less about, I like this.
Absolutely. Seeing some other interesting accessibility mistakes. Lindsay said a library book I borrowed that separated everything by paragraph instead of chapters. It was difficult to navigate. I can only imagine that would be quite a challenge. Ruth is pointing out that 93% of websites worldwide are still not fully accessible. Absolutely true, and a huge problem. Do cuts to CELA and NNELS funding count? Yes, I would say that counts as an accessibility mistake. It would be a shame if we couldn't fully support the work that those organizations are doing to make books accessible as we continue building the accessible publishing supply chain in Canada. Font size limitations, yes, that's another big one. If you've got like a hard maximum or a hard minimum and readers can't adjust those to their needs. This is not so much a mistake as a culture shift that needs to change, but so much of what we consider internet culture and internet humor is really based on images. And so that kind of portion of the conversation that we're having in kind of pop culture is really limited for print disabled readers. And there are some great Facebook groups where people are writing alt text for memes and then sharing them so that print disabled users can understand the jokes that others are making online. But it would be great if that was more widespread and more widely done.
Marisa says, talking about backlists that are full of PDFs, so they never get converted to EPUB. Yeah, that's tough. It's tough on both sides. If the book is particularly popular, I think that it makes sense for the publisher to make that investment. I will say that from the publisher point of view, we have a pretty significant backlist. It's really easy to get something that's like 6 editions old because someone's selling it used on Amazon and then asks us for an accessible version of it. And the answer is, you need to buy the latest version. The latest version is accessible.
Yeah. I think text with light or poor contrast colors, mostly print, we can fix for the E, but it would be great if we didn't have to. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Just taking, that's part of that workflow conversation that we were having before, just taking accessibility into account from the beginning of the design process. So that we have to make less adjustments when we're looking at the ebook version. I think some of that workflow is really interesting to me as the chair of the workflow committee. Everyone joined the workflow committee, so I have less work to do, please. Is it BISG? I look forward to your membership. But no, the workflow area is particularly interesting to me because we are in a position now where we have the technology that we can be producing ebooks and print books at the same time. And part of that relies on us considering both versions of that output as we go through the production process. So setting those workflows is really difficult, not only because of the technology shift you have to make, but the cultural shift, because that's not what we're used to doing.
Absolutely. And the earlier you can bake in some of those accessibility considerations, the less work the digital production team has to do at the end. Like Katie is saying, it's great that we can fix it for E, but it would be better if we never had to.
Yep.
So moving on from these unfortunate accessibility mistakes, let's talk about some of our favorite new tools or resources. These can be related to accessibility, related to ebook production. Mine is less an ebook production tool, but more of an accessibility tool. If you or your organization use Instagram, and particularly Instagram stories, to share information, they've just put out a better captioning feature on Instagram stories that you can just add like you would add a sticker. And that's really great. It auto-generates captions that kind of come up in time with the way that you're speaking. And it's really...
do you find that the auto-generated captions are accurate?
They're pretty decent, I have to say. I'm surprised. And they seem to be working well with various accents as well. So that can be pretty good. So if you're using social media, either personally or professionally, it's great to use those captions so that the content you're producing is available not only for people who can't hear the audio of your presentation, but also so that people who maybe are watching secretly during other things and don't want to have their audio on can also see what you're doing.
I would never do that. Wow.
Never.
Katie mentioned the new ACE app for desktop. And Peter has also said that ACE by Daisy has been essential to his workflow.
Yes, ACE is really great. Like in the past year, maybe two, lost track of time. Katie's saying, yes, I agree that ACE app is amazing. And it makes it so user-friendly for those who maybe aren't as technically proficient or feel overwhelmed trying to run things out of command line and other things. It's just great to have something user-friendly.
We've also used that because I work in educational publishing. We've used that with customers when they ask about the accessibility of our ebooks. We're able to like just pull an ACE report and send it to them and be like, this is where we are.
Yes.
EPUB check.
EPUB check, 100%. The best. Ruth also mentioned VS Code. I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah. While Ruth is responding to that, since we talked about the auto captioning, one of the things that I've been doing with the automatically generated alt text is we've been working with a tool called Invicta, which is produced by Continual Engine, and we've actually gotten some really nice output from there for our ebooks. So we're looking forward to doing some more exploration there.
Oh, cool. So VS Code is a code editor that is super easy to use. Ruth loves it. Selena asked if there are any favorite VS Code plugins. I love text editors with plugins. John mentioned getting students to use the ACE app and send reports. It is so nice. I agree. As a fellow educator in ebook production, that is one of my favorite things. Matthew mentioned Daisy Word to EPUB for anything that doesn't need to be converted out of INDD. Circular Flow for fixed layout.
Oh, the WebAIM color contrast checker is great. And also there's also one from the Paciello group that's really helpful, which I always get the link wrong to because it's spelled with an extra U.
Ruth uses a color code plugin. A former student who learned about ACE reports from John is here. Students in the house. Love that.
Thanks. Yeah, this is great.
All these color contrast checkers are amazing because I think I mentioned at last year's session that I used to check the contrast of colors by using like a mathematical formula from the...
You did. And I was really worried about you, honestly.
Yeah, it made things exhausting and time consuming. So having all these automated contrast checkers just makes my life full of laughter and love.
That's all it took. That's all it took. There's a pandemic, but Mo has her automated color checkers, so she's good. It's just all you do.
It's the little things, Rachel. We cling to the small joys this year of all years.
I've noticed that there's a lot of new resources that are out for diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has been really helpful. I feel like I'm like shilling for BISG right now. BISG did do a town hall on diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is where like Noah starts messaging me on Twitter or something and asking if I know that this is a BookNet. But they have some resources that are posted to their website from their town hall, which is great. It was just like an open forum of people talking about resources and rules that they have. Thank you, Lauren. She says BookNet approves this message. And there's a great worksheet that's on there that just has a list of like, these are things that you can do in order to make your environment more inclusive. There's also the BIPOC of Publishing group. Let's see. Mo, can you think of any?
Yeah, the BIPOC of Publishing group is great. Something I often share with my students, there is here in Canada, the Quill and Quire salary survey is really useful for people starting out in their careers to get an understanding of what salaries look like in the publishing industry. There's also a less official Google spreadsheet where people have anonymously shared their salaries across North America. So there's lots of US and Canadian data in there.
I don't know about this.
those can be helpful resources for people new in their career or early in their careers trying to figure out what their next step looks like. So that can be really interesting. In terms of other great, Lauren's sharing some links to BIPOC of Publishing in Canada.
Awesome, thank
they're
you.
a great group. They actually just hosted a really great YouTube webinar on burnout and sort of dealing with the sort of emotional load of work. And they just did that over the weekend. So that video is on YouTube and it's great. Does anyone have the link for the spreadsheet? Yes, I will share it in the document after this, Yelena, don't worry.
I mean, now I'm curious about the spreadsheet. I haven't seen that.
Yes, we will share it with all of you. Oh, Lauren shared it already. Amazing, Lauren, so fast. There's lots of great resources. We have some great tech forum content on equity, diversity, inclusion, and justice. We have some this year and some from previous years as well. So we can also share roundups of that. Oh my gosh, Lauren, links on links on links.
Oh, wow.
Everything.
Lauren, do you want to take over the webinar? Because Mo and I are getting tired.
Yeah, there's lots of great stuff out there and always more coming all the time. I'm trying to think of some other ebook production resources as well. But I've been sticking to the same stuff most of the time. I think last year I mentioned the Unicode test book. It has all the possible Unicode characters in it. So you can test how it displays on different devices. That's a really handy tool. Yeah, anything else from our attendees? It can be accessibility, EPUB related, equity, diversity, inclusion, and justice related.
Oh, you know what I almost forgot? Bookshop.org. That's one of my new favorite resources. Okay, fine. It's not for making ebooks, but I'm just super excited that it's there because now I never have to buy another book from they who will not be named.
PageStaker for creating page lists. Ooh, I love a page list tool.
Somebody earlier mentioned that they were looking for some page list resources, so that hopefully that will be helpful.
Ooh, some optimizing images tools, ImageOptim and OMG SVG. What a great name, OMG SVG. I love that. That's so fun. I'm excited to check out some of these tools.
For anyone who don't know what Bookshop is, bookshop.org is a consortium of independent booksellers that have come together into the bookshop.org URL in order to sell books online. So it's a great resource in the US. I think it's not in Canada yet, but I do hope that it expands because they've raised millions of dollars for independent bookstores.
So Brittany is asking, what's a good desktop reader that can properly read fixed layout ebooks? We are new in doing fixed layout comics. That's a great question. Rachel, do you have a favorite fixed layout desktop reader?
I love how you're asking me that when I said I don't read ebooks.
Well, just in case you had an inkling, the only one I've ever used is iBooks, which is obviously not for everyone as it's only.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually had a pretty good experience looking at fixed layout on the VitalSource reader.
Nice.
And that has a side loading capability. So if I have the file itself, I can just drop it in there and take a look. Dave mentioned Thorium, as did Ken. And of course, Calibrio, how could I forget Calibrio? They've done awesome accessibility work over the last year.
Yeah, and Ruth is asking, I would love to have lots of reader suggestions to point clients to. That's a great point. Maybe we'll collect up all the apps we can think of in this doc at the end of the session.
Yeah.
But those are all great places to start. Thank you, everyone, for broadening my knowledge of other apps as well. So for Canadian publishers, yes, Lauren's sharing the Shop Local API, so you can point from your website to indie stores. So we'll add that to our list of resources as well.
Definitely.
So our next sort of discussion topic, we want to hear about the most unique content you've worked with. And this can just be unique in terms of format, unique in terms of complexity. I think all the time, even still, about a book that I produced that was one part typical narrative nonfiction. It was a memoir. And then around chapter 9 also included a word search, which was a surprising challenge for me. Ruth, I worked with a sex ed education book that had thousands of nested lists. Ooh, thousands of lists.
Aren't you really curious about what the lists were about, though?
This is a safe for work presentation, Rachel.
Fair enough.
Kristen saying some choose your own adventure books. Oh, that's a cool challenge.
That would be fun. We have a textbook that's designed as a graphic novel, which we talked a bit about fixed layout, but getting accurate descriptions in there and figuring out how to convey the script, that's been really interesting.
Yeah, so we have a few different languages. So helping with the book using Canadian Aboriginal syllabics, textbooks in Ghanaian languages. A textbook wanted a Hebrew textbook from PDF to EPUB. Side-by-side English Inuit languages as translations. A lot of side-by-side translation. A lot of translation work happening this year, it seems like. Katie's explaining, recently did a book called The Panic Button Book, which had trees with different paths for self-help. You had to make the paths links, kind of like a choose your own adventure. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a book of poetry that I own that is it's a box with a bunch of small leaflets inside it. And the author's intent when you read it is that you would like throw the pamphlets in the air and then read them in the order that you pick them up in. And I'm not sure quite how you would handle that in a digital format. Yes, Float. Thank you, John. Yeah, it's Float by Anne Carson. It's a really interesting format, and I'm always curious to know like what the best way of handling that in a digital format would be. Anne Carson does a lot of weird, unique mixed media formats.
That's really cool.
Worked on a read aloud in Hebrew, reading right to left. Excellent, excellent. Yes, I also use Anne Carson in class to talk about handling unique formats. I've never settled on what the best solution is, but I love to see what my students think about how to handle her book and others. Correspondences by Anne Michaels, another Anne, is a great one. It's sort of like an accordion format book that you can read sort of front to back to front. It's always fun.
I've never been happier to work on textbooks than at this moment.
No, experimental
My
poetry
biggest challenge is a graphic novel.
Have a book with a semaphore clue that the kids can solve themselves. It would be possible to describe the flag orientations in a long description, but how easy would it be for the reader to juggle clue and code in their head to solve it? Oh, that's a great one.
These are great.
I love all these also like interactive. It makes me wonder if like interactive stuff is coming back in terms of just content that's interactive, thinking of like choose your own adventure, that choose your own sort of self-help model, different like solving clues and things. I love that. There are more grown-up books with clues and mysteries in them that we can solve.
There really need to be. I need some adult choose your own adventure books. Okay, I didn't mean that to sound the way that I need some choose your own adventure books for grown-ups. We're gonna rephrase that. I'm afraid to know what's gonna show up in my inbox after this.
Yeah, anyone else with some unique content to share before we move on into the final speed round of the presentation? Galdo's gift. You say that as a joke, but I got my partner a choose your own adventure romance as a Christmas gift one year. Oh, that's fun.
Asher, I feel like we should be friends.
Ken's sharing a link to Galdo's gifts. We'll include that as well.
Cool. Interesting. Okay. I will take a look at this. I like how I'm basically just using this for building out my reading list. It has nothing to do with helping others.
Like any book conference, you can't attend a book conference even online and not leave with more things you want to read.
It's a situation.
So for the final section of our presentation, we have some trivia questions. So I'm going to read a trivia question. It'll be also up on the slide in the presentation. And the first person to answer in the chat will receive a prize. Lauren will direct message you to get your information. We do have prizes. So if everyone's ready, we'll start with the first question. What is I18N and L10N?
LY0N was a new one for me. I like had to check and make sure I got it right. So Mo has been quizzing me as well.
Inclusivity is not right. Ruth has one right. Internationalization is correct. Marisa in with the second one, localization.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we can manage prizes for.
We can do one for Ruth for getting the first one for Marisa for hopping the second one. So watch your direct messages.
Mm-hmm.
So our next question, what does WIA ARIA stand for? Or WAI, if I can read the letters in the correct order.
I usually say way aria. Do you? Is that just a me thing?
I've never said it out loud until this very moment. So, Web Accessibility Initiative. Yes, Ruth again. And David with the second one, Accessible Rich Internet Applications.
Dave Kramer, check your mail.
John's saying that he also says it the same way as you, Rachel.
Thank you.
It takes John a long time to type. It sure does. It's a lot of letters.
I appreciate someone validating my pronunciation.
So our next question, name the browser you need to access the dark web. Asher, correct answer, Tor.
Oh, this is coming in with that fast. I also this is also something I didn't know. I feel like Mo has just schooled me in the.
You mean you don't spend a lot of time on the dark web, Rachel?
Well, now I know that you do. So
for your nefarious activities?
I do all of my nefarious activities out in the open where anyone can see them.
I understand.
Again, that doesn't sound right.
So our next question, Canadian book retailer Indigo Books and Music has a new president. Name the retail chain they moved from.
I don't know Canadian facts, Mo. You're just like, how am I supposed to know these things?
Dave suggested Tim Hortons, which is incorrect.
Which is where they should have come from, obviously.
There is more than one business in Canada, I hope you all know. Oh, Brittany with Chapters, no. Penguin, also no.
Oh, this is a good one, Mo.
I'm going to give a little hint. They're not from a book industry organization. They're from another retail business.
But
Canadian Tire, no.
I will say also that I am, Ruth, I refuse to acknowledge that. I will say that I am still too poor to shop from this chain, unless I go to the clearance section.
Ooh, Holt Renfrew. Oh, a good guess based on the Nordstrom. Also a good guess. Yes, we are heading in the right direction in a clothing company direction. That is correct.
Although they do have like miscellaneous products as well. I've noticed.
Yeah, they do have some beautiful home goods and
I think the only thing I've ever bought there was a set of coasters, which was, not appropriately priced.
Oh, we have a guess for winners. Interesting. Burgers Priest. Oh, Genevieve, Anthropologie, Urban
Anthropologie.
Group. Excellent.
Apparently Genevieve has the same coasters.
So yeah, that is where Indigo's new president has moved over from. Coasters gave it away. Oh, the coasters is a good context for Rachel.
I am so happy that I was able to provide that too. They're also useless as coasters because they're beaded, and so everything just like sort of rolls off of them. And I don't know why. It was a bad. Because
idea. They were beautiful, I'm sure.
They were beautiful. And
so next question, also Indigo related. How many Indigo stores unionized in 2020? One is correct, but it is a bigger number than one. Oh, 3 is also correct, but there's more than 3.
Going up.
Oh, 5. Too many, Chris.
Hey, Chris got it with 4.
Chris got it with 4. So 4 indigo swords.
I do appreciate Asher's response, which is either all of them are not enough.
Yeah, so 4 indigo locations unionized, some in Ontario, some in BC, and potentially more. We'll have to see what happens in the rest of 2021. Continuing with our CanCon questions, what was Canada's best-selling Canadian authored book in 2020? Oh, a good guess from Lindsay with Yum and Yummer, but that was not the best-selling Canadian book last year. The Testaments, also not true. The Skin We're In, not it. Oh, She Glows. All these good guesses of Canadian authored books, but none of them are bestseller. Dave's guessing Tessa something. It was not written by a person named Tessa.
I don't know. You may have stumped them, Mel.
Have I stumped you all? The Canadian bestseller?
I believe it was Mo's memoir.
No. As yet unpublished and untitled. So if you have suggestions for the title of my memoir, I'll welcome them after.
I was thinking Mo Is Me.
Wow. Oh, Ken just guessed Justin Bieber. Peter got the correct answer with From the Ashes by Jessie Thistle. Canada's best-selling Canadian author. Congratulations. And congratulations to Jessie. A wonderful best-selling book. Back to the world of book retail, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos stepped down in 2021. Who is his replacement? You're looking for a first and last name.
I believe the correct answer to this is I Shop Indie.
Wow, a silence.
That's actually kind of encouraging. Thank you. Scrooge McDuck. Fair.
Oh, Hannah. Correct answer. Andy Jassy.
Nice.
The name of Jeff's replacement at Amazon.
Thank you so much for your participation in this, and it's always wonderful to, if not see your faces, then to see your names.
Yeah, and we'll see you around Twitter at #eProduction. And we'll turn it back over to Ainsley to wrap up the day.
And I'll just say thank you very much, Monique and Rachel, for this fun e-production session. I feel like I learned a lot about trivia. So thank you both for speaking at this year's Tech Forum. We appreciated having you. And lastly, we want to thank the Department of Canadian Heritage for their support through the Canada Book Fund.